5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and tonight I'm spooling up a live stream because there's something interesting that I want to talk about. All right, before we get started here, let me say that I want you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on the webpage. If you're watching it on YouTube, it's pretty easy. They're like right down there, I think. But either way, I would really appreciate it if you do that. All right. With that aside, this video is sponsored by yours truly because I have no sponsors. So at this point, it's just me. I'm here. All right. So we're going to have some fun, talk about things for a little while, and get going here. Let's see. Let me get a chat message started. Alright. Yep, chat's live. We are streaming. Okay. Get a little comfortable here. I've got things kind of sorted out, and I may reverse everything up, but right now, okay, quick discussion about the Nikon lens roadmap. I want to start there, because I still shoot Nikon. Not a lot, because I have mostly Leica cameras now. Actually, I only have Leica and Nikon cameras. I have a bunch of Nikon glass, so I still shoot Nikon. I'm filming currently on my Z50, and with the Z50, hi, Scott Patterson, how you doing? Thank you for stopping in. Did you get the note? Like, subscribe, notification bell, it's right down there. I promise I'm not going to do that the whole stream. Maybe half. Anyway, the roadmap though has native Z-mount lenses on it, and what I want to do is I want to get to some of these lenses, but I want to put them on my Z50. I like my Z50 a lot. It's a great little camera. You know, I know I can upgrade it to maybe a ZFC and get some better focus tracking and things like that. But for me, the little Z50 does really well. Plus, I've already kitted it out. Like, I have a bunch of batteries for it. They're right here. I got a whole bin full of batteries, and it just works out that I like using it. It's just easy to use. So. And I put my 500 millimeter on it, shoot my wildlife when I go out of the country or whatever, you know. But currently I'm filming on let me quit shaking the table, the 10 to 15 millimeter F mount lens. And I've got it adapted with the F to Z adapter, of course. But I'm looking at the Nikon lens roadmap, and if you'll notice, there is nothing equivalent to that in this roadmap. The widest lens they have is the 14 to 24, and that's full frame lens, which is enormous. It'll fit the Z50 just fine, but this one's 10 millimeters on the wide side. And when I do portable vlogging or landscape photography, that 10 millimeters is nice. You know, it scales up to like a field of view of about like 15 mil on a full frame machine. So there's nothing on here that even gets close to this lens. And there's nothing projected. Like, they've only got 3 lenses that are announced, to be announced, wait a minute, that haven't been officially announced yet. One's the 12 to 28 PZ. I wonder if that's a perspective control lens. They have it in the list here. Yep. Oh, it just says PZ. I can't click on it. It's a DX lens. 12 millimeters is close. It's not 10. You know, this one, it's a 10 to 20. My bad. It's not, sorry. There. It's a 10 to 20 millimeter, not 10 to 15. But I run it pretty wide. Like right now, it looks like it's on 14 mil for the framing you see in the picture here. You get it. But it works really well. There's the bass angler. I see you down there. Nice. But the roadmap shows the 12 to 28, and it's a DX lens. You can see right there. And that is the closest I'll be able to get. Like I said, when I'm doing walk around vlogs, I run this thing on 10 millimeters. I run it as wide as it can go. And that way, you know, at arm's length, I get a reasonable composition. It ain't just my head talking into the lens. But it's sad that they don't have a direct replacement for this amazing lens. And you know, of course, up here at the top, they got all of the primes and the really nice ones and all that. But I like this 28 mil. Oh, that ain't the 28 I'm looking for. Where's the one off the ZFC that they did, the homage lens? I guess that's this one. I can't click on these either. Interesting. But I just want to talk about that for a minute, in that there may be F-mount lenses that you can't get in Z-mount. Just keep that in mind when you buy your Z camera. You may end up having, don't get rid of your F to Z adapter. There may be a F-mount lens that you need to put on your Z-mount camera. So hang on to that FTZ. That's basically all I'm trying to say with this. All right, let me do this cool transition back to me. The main point of this stream tonight was to chat about the new camera that launched a few days ago. I think the P is for silent motor. Oh, okay. That's awesome. I figured it'd be perspective control. Good evening, Hassan. Thank you for stopping in. Awesome. Let's see. See, I got the chat window right here, and I've got all of my interweb stuff directly above it. All right. This is what we want to talk about. The Leica M6 Reissue. Brand new M6 film cameras. Not only is it a film camera, it is a crazy expensive film camera. You would think that for $5,300 that it would be some kind of super hot rod machine. This one don't even have the TTL or the light meter. I think it has a light meter, but it don't have the through the lens light metering. I'm pretty sure this is the original first generation. Let's go back. Technical specs. There's a picture of the camera from the front. I don't want to download the data sheet. I just want to see. It's an M. Yeah, I get that. Top cover and bottom cover, brass with black finish. All right. Overview. But this kind of surprised me. I really wasn't expecting to see a brand new M6. You know, especially with the MP already in their inventory. You can already get a film camera from Leica, and it's called the MP. And it's basically this, but with some improvements even. The M6, of course, is the most popular. Let me just jump back to here. The M6 is the most popular film Leica basically ever, and it saw a really lengthy production run. You know, it enjoyed a long production history from like 1984 till sometime in the 2000s. They made M6 cameras. People love them. And they bring a significant premium on the secondhand market. A significant premium. They're well over $2,000 for a decent working secondhand one. And that's not for any of the special editions like the titanium one or anything like that. That's just for a plain vanilla M6. You know, it's for a person who really enjoys film photography. For me, I have some cameras like this is my Leica M6. This is X700 Minolta, as you can see. This little camera takes stunningly good photos. I've shot several rolls of film with this particular X700, but my Leica film camera is the vaunted R8. I have the 50mm Summicron. That's the lens that's on it, but it's an R-mount camera. R-mount cameras are the stepchild of Leica. These you can get for reasonable money. Comparatively. You can buy this X700 Minolta for like, you know, probably less than $100 with a lens off eBay. This body will be $600 to $800, and if it's in like new condition, I've seen them I've seen people asking $1,000 for this the body. And this is a 20-year-old camera. I don't remember my exact manufacture date. I think mine's built in the late 90s, somewhere in that period. But the lens is kindly expensive too for these cameras because it's the, I think it's called the R only lens, and the R mount cameras have a sordid history. There's like 5 or 6 generations of them, so you can only use like 3 cam and R only lenses on the R8 and R9. So it's kind of a unique creature, but it's still significantly cheaper than this M6 that you're seeing in the picture here. It's crazy how much these things bring. Let's see. Oh, look. Grant's here. How you doing, Grant? Steve Kunder. Nice to see you this evening. But the F mount P lenses were the silent stepper motor lenses. Okay. Thank you, Bass Angler. It makes a lot more sense. I bet it is. The hat's here. Hey. Oh, well, I actually made it to when the stream was running. Well, I finally cranked one up at a reasonable time of day, too. Also, oh, wow. I didn't think I'd see any company releasing a new film camera that's actually good anytime soon. Just the usual mix of point and shoot cheap stuff. Thank you. My X700 is a really nice one. I had 2 of them and I sold one. My other X700 needed the light seals replaced around the film door, but this one's like new. It's in wonderful shape. Let's see. Woody Mallory's here. How you doing, Woody? My X700 was free. Best price ever. And had the 50mm f1.7 rocker, also a 28mm Vivitar, and a rocker zoom. Wow, they gave you everything. Rugby 7's in the house. How you doing? Thank you. All right. If y'all haven't done it yet, and most of you probably have, like, subscribe, and the notification bell. They're right down there. Go down there and click on all that right quick. And like and give the thumbs up to the stream. I don't know. I can't see the stream on YouTube currently. I'm looking at it from the OBS software. But there we go. You are. Reason it's 1:30 in the morning. What are you doing up at 1:30? You got work in about 5 hours. That's crazy. Yeah, we're in the photography / ham shack room. Just to throw that around. I can't really move the camera now. I have actually built a static mount for it. That's I bought a static position mount for the camera, and it's clamped to the table, but I had to modify the clamp to get it to clamp to my table. And then I had to make this boom arm that the mic's on out of the, it was kind of weird. This is for a ring light or something. And I modified the system to where I could put my microphone on it, but it works pretty good. It actually clears up the keyboard, gets the mic above it and closer to my face where people can hear me, things like that. 11 in the chat. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, I can't see that. Right now, all that's blind to me. Oh, random aside, I bought a 24mm Nikkor AIS based on your review. Great decision, and yeah, I need to be up for a few hours, but I work from home, so the commute is only 15 seconds. Okay. What he's talking about is one of these. You notice it was well within reach. This is the Nikon 24mm AIS f2.8 lenses. This, let me open up the aperture. My aperture ring's stiff. This lens needs using. The grease is getting tight in the aperture ring. But yeah, it's got a, did I open it? Yeah, I opened it all the way up. Okay. There we go. This is the lens I put on my streaming camera when I was using the D810 down in the shop office a couple of years ago when I was trying to stream on the slower connection. These are wonderful lenses for like landscape or street photography. It made a really good video lens too, and it's compact. It's very small. That's the wonderful thing about this lens. I'm not going to reach back in there and put that up. There's a shelf right behind the camera here that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, about almost 20 lenses in a shadow box kind of thing. Yeah, and this one goes with them, so I'll put it back in a little bit. Let's see, what do we got in the chat here? Love the new setup. Thank you, Grant. Yeah, I finally got something right. I added this monitor, so now I have 2 monitors. So when I switch over, what you're seeing now is the upper monitor with the web pages on. As you can see, there's tabs. You can see all the stuff I've got open in the background here. Like if I go up here to it. I got this pulled up because I wanted to see the price. The price is $5,300 for the camera, and I'm pretty sure that this Summilux 35 f1.4, they call it, basically it's an homage lens too. It's the steel lens or something like that, steel mount, steel something. It's got something about steel instead of brass, and yeah, it's not listed here. They just got it mounted for the photos, but the lens is like $2,000 or $3,000 because it's going to be like a reissue of an original 35 f1.4 that would have been sold with the original M6. But yeah, I was just kind of blown away that they're going to reissue it. I guess they're seeing so many of them coming in for CLAs. See, in the Leica camera world, these cameras, like if I was to point over here, you have this little window. If you see my mouse pointer, there's a little window right by the Leica logo, and then there's the regular viewfinder window. Okay, this little window takes an image and superimposes it in the center of the viewfinder window. And those, if you've ever looked through the old optical rangefinders from World War II that the British used to spot German aircraft coming across the channel, they're this big wide thing with 2 lenses, and what they could do was, as they focused the 2 devices, once the image went from a double image to a single, then those lenses had a calibrated scale, and it would tell them how many, I think it was actually measured in yards, and I think those things could see like 20,000 yards or something like that, you know, about 60,000 feet, which would be, you know, divided by 5 basically in miles. You know, you're looking at quite a few miles. They could see out over the channel. So what they did was they took that technology and they built it into these rangefinder cameras. Same design. You have 2 lenses, and once you get them, once them meet in plane, and it looks like one image with the superimposed one on it, then the range is set on the lens to the right focal distance, and you're in focus. That's the idea. These cameras, you don't look through the lens, and so you don't know if it's in focus, and you have to believe that that mechanism being timed to the focus ring on the lens is in calibration. So periodically you have to send your M back to Leica and have it calibrated. So they perform a action on the camera called a CLA. They do it to the lenses too. This one needs to be CLA. To be honest with you, that stiff aperture ring is a perfect reason to have one CLA. And that means cleaned, lubricate, and aligned. Well, rangefinders need aligning periodically. People will figure out sometimes, like if it's off a little, they can they'll learn where it's off by shooting some film, getting it developed, figuring out where it was focused, where it should have been, and they'll figure it out without sending their camera in. But most of the time they'll just get it CLA'd and call it good. Because you can do it in the US. You don't have to send your camera to Germany to have it CLA'd. There's actually third-party guys that are real reputable that'll do it too. Let's see. I commute from the kitchen with coffee to the office upstairs. I'm a hard boss, so I have to make sure I get back to my desk before I notice I'm gone. That's a good one, Hat. So for the body and lens, you're for about $8,000. That's just, yeah, Yeah, I think someone said it's a little over $8,000 for a camera and lens, for a film camera and lens, based on 1984 technology. Remember that too. The MP has new technology in the design of the camera. Even though it's still a rangefinder camera that shoots film, the MP, in my opinion, is a better design because it's got all of the engineering knowledge from all of them decades from when the M6 was introduced. It just stands to reason that there's more going on there that makes sense. But this camera has a cult following. That's the only way to say it. Is there is a group of people that will shoot M6s as long as there's M6 cameras to shoot. They will have them. And it would not surprise me if they sell out of these pretty much immediately, because they're going to be building them. I got something bit me. Because they're building them by hand. That's part of the reason they're so expensive. They're hand assembled and handmade, far as I know. The top plate is made out of solid brass, so all that where the viewfinder is and the light patch and illumination and all that, that's brass. The bottom plate where the film door cover is, if you've never seen how you load an M, it's kind of weird. You take the bottom plate completely off of the camera, and then on the back, let's see, this little section here that's square can be folded up out of the way so that you can get the film in there easier. Some people don't fold it up, but some do. But yeah, once you take the bottom off, that cover will fold up, and then you can slide the film in, pull it across, or pull out a tail, slide it into the camera from the bottom, and then there's a take-up spool on the other side, and you get it in that take-up spool. Close that back door, put the bottom on, relock it, and it's ready to, and you wind it to get past the dead film, of course, but then you're ready to go shoot. But yeah, it's not like with all the 35 millimeter rangefinders, you would pull this lever up right here. Once you hit the release, I think it's this one that allows you to rewind the film on the X700. Then you can pull this up, and it pops the door loose, the door opens. Of course, anybody that's over the age of, 25 probably knows how to load a film camera. I mean, you just stick the cartridge of film in, you pull it over, you start it into the take-up reel, and then it's locked and done. And then you push this down to engage it, and then when you start taking photos, I've got it. There we go. Uh-oh. I've hit a button made it do something. I think it's got may have a dead battery. I heard it beep at me. Oh, it's on now. That's aperture priority. There. Nope. Shutter's not releasing. Oh, I didn't hit the rewind. Sometimes I feel really dumb. But you'd shoot a few frames and wind it in, Okay, the battery's not dead. Okay, turn that back off and put this back in aperture priority before I forget. But with the M, instead of the door just opening, you take the bottom completely off the camera, and then you have to hold that somewhere, stick it in your pocket or under your arm or something, and then take the film out, put the film in, get it in the camera, and then get the bottom plate, put it back on, and lock it on. They haven't changed that design. They even brought it to the M digital cameras until the M11. The M10s even have the bottom that come off to change the battery and the memory card. They're under a metal cover because that was an homage to that original design. Let's see. Anybody with a lot of cash wants a hand-assembled camera with a red dot. Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, that Leica logo is pretty cool. I mean, I would shoot on one, but I would probably borrow one. I don't know. I've messed around with the rangefinders a little bit, and I'm just super not into the rangefinder technology. The whole deal, because it's hard for me to see through the rangefinder. So I just don't want to have to try and use my glasses to look through it. Like with all my cameras, I look over the glasses through the electronic viewfinders on my cameras that I use. Like my SL2's in this bag right here that I had it out today shooting something. And that's the way I shoot it. I hold my head over and I look over my glasses so that I don't have to worry about correcting the diopter for my glass lenses. And then the moment my glasses touch that rubber eye cup, they get all this, skin oil all over them, and you can't see out of your glasses. It's kind of a double-edged knife. So that's why I don't shoot rangefinders. I like it. It's romantic, but yeah, I'd just soon have, this one I like because it has the diopter correction built into it. And the diopter and the R's are all optical glass. There's no plastic in them. So this is just like a lens that you're looking through. These things are crazy clear. They're wonderful cameras, but they're kind of big and heavy, and they're mechanical, which is strange. They have metering, so you can run it, like I'll run it in aperture priority almost all the time. And don't have to worry about the shutter speed. It has a 1/8,000th shutter. It's a pro camera from the 90s. But it has a adjustable diopter, and I've got it set for my eye so that I don't have to look through my glasses to see through it either. And I took quite a few rolls of film this year. I've got this little project going with it. Hey, Ray Soldano showed up, and look, there's Cuban Rum. Cuban Rum has an M10. He can vouch for the fact that you have to take the bottom off of the camera to change the battery. They held on to that ideology when they went to the M digitals. They did improve the viewfinder. Good thing, yeah. And guns aren't really my thing, though I reckon if I were shooting ranges in the UK, I'd have to go. They say the farmers still have firearms in the UK. It's just that there's like more paperwork or something, and they have them for like livestock protection. Like if you need to control the rabbits and they're wiping out your, whatever you call it, like cabbage crop or what have you. What you got? You going to bed? No. Teresa's right outside of camera shot here. She's waving good night to me. Good night. Love you too. We'll see you in a little bit. They're probably all saying hi in the chat. She said hello back. Yes, they are handmade in Germany. Yes, sir. They will fly off the shelves. Yeah, they will. How do you turn on the eye detect autofocus? It's with this eye that does the detecting, and this, I think it's like this is what drives the lens. Like I've got an M lens on my CL, and it's got the little tab on the bottom, But yeah, that's the eye detect autofocus. You have to look at the eye and focus on it. Shoot 1600 speed film, so it's nice and grainy, and you can't tell if you're in focus or not, and it don't matter. But I suspect that the photographers who want to film Leica and know what they're doing would probably go for an M3. The M3 being the first one didn't have metering. Most of them like the M6 because of its metering. They don't have to have the external roof mount light meter or a handheld one. A lot of them will buy the little hot shoe light meters and put them in the 3 and the 4 and the 2. But I think it was M3 was first, and then they made the M2 after the M3, and then the 4, then of course the 5, which was a terrible flop, even though it was cutting edge at the time. And now they're super sought after collectibles because there's only a handful of them in existence. And then the M4P came out, which saved them because of the M5 mistake. And then the M6 came a little later. Some kind of weird history like that. But metering? We don't need no stinking metering. Yeah, just shoot HP5 and overexpose it a lot, and it'll be okay. Oh, yeah. Hello and good night. Let's see. Cuban Rum. What camera is that? Okay. This one is the Leica R8 film camera from like 1996 or 7, somewhere in there. That's this one. I got it 2 years ago I was going to do a big film photography project. My plan was to shoot nothing but black and white film for a year. And I quickly learned that I'm a color photographer. I love color. So I'm still shooting a film project on it, and it is black and white because I bought a mountain of HP5, and I've been slowly shooting through it. It's got HP5 in it right now. What's cool about this one is it's new enough, it has DX coding, so it automatically knows the ISO when I put the film in the camera. It has a little deal you can pull down, and you can manually adjust the ISO, so if you want to push or pull the film, and then it's got the timer modes are right here under this little closey door that you close. But it's got a little digital display, tells you the frame counter and all that jazz. But it's very efficient on battery power. I put a battery in when I got it. This front corner comes off, and the battery, as you can kind of tell there, see how it's jagged? That's the section. You release it right here, and this whole thing slides off, and the battery is inside of it. And you put a new battery in it. It's just like a 3-volt camera cell or something like that, and you just snap it back on. So yeah, the grip is the actual battery holder. It's kind of neat. But yeah, it's a nice camera. It's kind of heavy, but it's cool. I mean, it ain't no worse than my SL2. The other one is a Minolta X700, which is a really nice Minolta camera. But look at the size difference. These things are, it's like night and day. It's a little tiny thing compared to this R8. You know, both of them are 35 millimeter. Let's see. This one has the 50 f1.7, just like the hats. Let's see. I'm on right. Blink a couple times, squint, and shoot. You must not have read the manual. Oh no. Oh, yes, you do. And it reminds me of the Nikon F. The Leica store told me that if I pre-order it, it will be a long time before I see it. Oh, really? An M6? Wow. I knew that they'd sell out pretty much immediately because there is a super strong cult following for M6 cameras. So it was honestly brilliant on their part to bring this camera back because they already have all the prints, all the engineering notes, all of the setup processes are documented. All they have to do is basically set up the machinery and start making them. They still have all that tech, all that information. They have it all. So they don't have to design it or engineer it at all. They probably still have some of the original assembly people to teach the new ones how to put them together. Brilliant. It's just crazy brilliant. And they'll sell them. As fast as they make them, they'll sell them. Their marketing is that good. They know what they're doing. Wow. You may laugh, but I spent the first year shooting with a Fujica with no functional meter. Just shot Sunny 16 on HP5 as it happens. And that works. I did it some with my CL just to do the experiment. You get a little bit of overexposure in a digital camera, but HP5 is real forgiving to being overexposed. Who was it? What's the guy in California that does the voiceover monologues to his film? Oh, it's hilarious monologues. Crud. He shoots nothing but, he's got some Leicas, but he shoots a bunch of cameras. He's got a whole bunch of old film cameras. But his girlfriend's name is Monica, and he talks about Monica in his videos. What's his name? Crud. Y'all will tell me in the chat. But he talks about how forgiving HP5 is to being overexposed. You can like crazy bad overexpose it, and it'll still come out pretty good. But yeah, I get it. I believe you. I did screw up a large number of frames until I got my head wrapped around it. I've since repaired the meter. Nice. Oh, you still have it. I had a Fujica camera and I sold it on eBay recently because I just never used it. And I just didn't want it to sit and ruin as a decoration. I had several of vintage film cameras I collected, and I put them all on eBay and liquidated them. I kept those two because those are my favorites. This here, it's not that accurate. Well, once you learn which way it's wrong, once you learn the meter, or you can buy one of them little hot shoe meters like the Ravini Labs or whatever that company is. He makes that little tiny light meter that goes in the hot shoe. There's a couple of them. Was it Voigtlander makes a really nice one. Leica makes one too, I think. But yeah, you can get one of them little tiny hot shoe light meters and fix any camera that's got a dead meter. That's not a problem. Is Leica the only camera you use nowadays? No, I still have my Nikon Z50 that I shoot with pretty regular in the spring because I shoot wildlife with it mostly, in some like landscape, but mostly I put that 500 phase Fresnel on it and shoot like wildlife. When we go on vacations like to Costa Rica, I really like it because you can just be in the grounds of the hotel and get really cool wildlife photos, and these really colorful birds and little animals that you don't see around here, and they don't have a lot of man fear, so I can photograph them real well with that setup, and the field of view is like 750 millimeter, so it sees really good, and with 21 megapixels I have plenty of resolution. But as far as bodies go, my main go-to cameras are my SL2 and my CL. And the CL's right there on the shelf. If I just want a little walk around camera, I'll grab that CL because it's I'll show you. I don't know how many of y'all know about these, but they just discontinued them actually. So there's a few still in stores if you want a new one, but you can buy them secondhand pretty reasonable for a Leica. But I've got a little grip on it that has the Arca Swiss mount built into it, and it has the hand grip that gives it a little more to hold on to, but it's scaled down M tech. It's a lot like an M. It even has the rangefinder location, but it's an EVF. But this is my walk around camera. It's got Art and Artisans or something like that. Artisan and Artist strap. I got a nice sling on it so I can throw it over my shoulder. But it's got a Voigtlander 35 millimeter f1.4 on it, and I got the f1.4 for the low light because I like to shoot in low light a lot, and that gives me a lot of light gathering. That's the main reason I got it, and not because honestly, wide open, it's not that great. Just to be honest with you, I shoot it stop down to f2.8 most of the time because that gets rid of the artifacting in this Voigtlander lens. But yeah, it's a great little camera, man. This is a LEMS grip, and apparently you can't get these anymore. But it's made to where you can actually open the battery door and change the battery and memory card, which are under this little door. The Leica version of this grip, you have to remove it to take the battery out. It's like, that's dumb. Smart as them guys are, they couldn't think to cut a hole in it so that you can change the battery without having to take it off of the camera. Okay, whatever. But most of the time, though, I'm carrying my SL2. Albert Jimenez. If I pronounced that right, looks like I did. Ooh. And Nickel Map, man, that goes way back. I still have my Fujica. Nice. The one I had also had to have the light seals replaced. I tried to do them myself. You can buy that foam off of Amazon, and I cut little thin strips and done it in the door like what's his name, King Japes does. I did. He'll redo his light seals on his old what he calls thrift store cameras, and I tried it and it worked, but I think my mirror was leaking, and if the frame stayed in the camera for an extended period of time, I would have this weird light leak mark. But if I just shot through the frames, then there wouldn't be any light leak marks. So that's what led me to believe that it was in the mirror, because it's coming through the viewfinder and bleeding around the mirror. But yeah, with that one, I shot several rolls of film with it. I actually shot a bunch in Asheville, North Carolina, and liked it. It's a great camera. But yeah, mine had a light leak, and I sold it. Disclaimer to all that, it's like you'll probably have to redo the light seals, yada yada yada. It didn't bring a lot because I said all that, I'm sure, but it's just the way it works. I'd rather do that than somebody know what they're getting into. Let's see. Steve Kunder. So do you have to sell a kidney to purchase a Leica? No. Not all the way. What I did was I saved up. Let's see here. The CL was the first one I bought. And I've bought all of mine second-handed. I haven't bought any of my Leica gear new. And I've got a good bit of it now, but it's all been bought second-handed. You can save significant money buying it used. Some people prefer to buy new. And if you're super careful with your kit and you take exemplary care of it, and some people do, like I don't know how they use their camera and not wear the paint off, but I've seen people that'll have SL2s or SLs even, which are even older, and they'll be in like new shape. Are you even using it? Because like mine, it's in this messenger bag. And I was noticing this the other day about it. Y'all probably can't tell it, but let's see. If I get the light right. Let's see. It's right there. Yeah, right in this corner. You see that little blemish in the rubber coating? If I get it turned just right, you can see that little scuff mark looking thing. That's where my fingernail on my ring finger has been picking at that rubber as I hold the camera. It lines up perfectly with that fingernail. And I've chewed up the rubber from just carrying it, because I carry it in my hand a lot. What I'll do is I'll wrap the strap, and then I'll walk around with it so it doesn't get caught on stuff and I don't drop it. But just from carrying it, that fingernail has abraded that rubber. And then there's like all these little marks on the chassis. It's got the paint's worn off on the corners, and like there's paint wore off here and around the viewfinder, around the hot shoe, it's wore down. And it's just from using it. So I really don't know how people are keeping them in such wonderful shape. But they'll have them look brand new. And they'll bring good money. But if it's got some wear on it like this one, you get it almost half price. So that's how I've bought all my gear. And it's actually no worse than the high-end Nikon Z gear. There's some of that stuff is kind of pricey now. And the Canon, I don't know about the Canon. I really haven't looked at their pricing. But yeah, some of that, like if you bought that Nikon 58mm, it's an $8,000 Nikon lens. So it's no worse than that. I mean, that 24 to 90, I bought it secondhand for it was $3,000 or $4,000. But I just save up. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I smoke cigars on occasion. I have maybe half a dozen cigars in the humidor. I'll buy 3 or 4 and throw them in there, and one a month or something. But since I don't have any heavy hitter vices like that anymore, I just save that money. And it accumulates fairly quickly. And then once it accumulates, let me just show you. Here? Yeah. Well, let me just switch over. This is a Facebook group I'm in. So this is Leica Photography. Let's see. Let me find it. My bad. That's not friends. That's groups. Leica S medium format. It's because it's SLs. Yeah. Let's say why am I in that one? That wasn't the one I was thinking. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. This one. Leica Classified. Now, if you notice, it's a private group and it has 24,000 members. Occasionally, a scammer will make his way into this page, but very, very rarely. And almost always, you're you build a reputation in here. And as you can see, this gentleman is selling an M7, which is a film Leica, which honestly is like the worst film Leica to buy, because it has an electronic control that drives the shutter, and we all know that electronics die with age. So this camera is dying slowly but surely. The M6 is all mechanical. Short of literally wearing a mechanical part in two, or wearing one so bad that it moves another part out of position, the M6 will continue to take pictures. Now, the light meter may go bad in it, and you have to put the little Ravini Lab one on it, but it'll take photos. The M7, not so much. Yeah. So, but he's asking 3,200, and he'll probably get it because people want to shoot them because they like them. It probably it has stuff that goes on like it'll do stuff an M6 won't. But you know, you can see here's an SL2S. Now, a lot of guys, he's wanting to trade for a Q2. You know, here's a guy with a bunch of glass from a person who's passed on, and it looks like he's in Sweden or somewhere. Who uses Kronos as currency? But here's an M10 monochrome. There's an M11. You know, a bunch of M glass. You'll see a lot of M glass in here. There's a, but you get it. Now here's a SL2 with the 24-90, and he's asking 7,000 for the pair. And this thing is probably going to be in some kind of, let's see, yeah, see, SL2 in excellent condition, minimal use, no scratches, dents, etc. I don't know how. I really don't know how they do it. I use my 24-90 very sparingly. I used it the other day to do the rock climber photography. If you follow my channel, you'll see I've posted like a little short about let's go take pictures of rock climbers where I mounted the 24-90, and then at the end I scroll through some of the photos. But even with that minimal use, it's got some scuffs on it. It's like, how? I just don't get it. But yeah, I shop in here pretty regular. If I'm looking for, especially L-mount Leica gear, then I go to the Leica Classified Facebook group because, like I said, I bought a bunch of my batteries. David Hugh and I remember the other guy if I look, but David Hugh is one of the guys I buy from pretty regular. I think he's the one that's in California. But he will. I think he's like a side dealer. He's got a side hustle trading in Leica gear because he's all the time got something in here for sale. But he's good to go. I've bought a bunch of gear from him. Bunch of batteries. A bunch of batteries from him. Anyway, I can scroll through this crap all day. There's a Leica M6 titanium. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Non-TTL. Mild custom. Oh, someone's put... Oh. So he's had it recovered because someone put some ostrich skin stuff on it and he didn't like it, so he took that off. And YYE CL'd it. YYE is a very reputable camera smith. If he done it, it's as good as Leica doing it. So yeah, YYE is good to go. Yeah, and look, he's still getting $3,200 for it, and that's not even the original leather. It's a different brand leather, you know. But it is a titanium. This would be a great shooter for somebody that wanted to shoot. This would be a great shooter camera. Look, it looks brand new. It's incredible. I just don't understand. Let's see. What have I missed over here? There's a lot going on in the chat. Oh, y'all are talking about an F2. Albert says, used is the way to go, and especially when you buy manual lenses. And that is absolutely correct. The CL currently wears a Voigtlander 35mm. You know what I like about the 35 f1.4? This is ludicrous. Let me pull this lens cap off so you can see. And if I release this, this is a 35mm f1.4 lens. Full frame. Look how little this thing is. 35mm f1.4. It's a tiny little thing. And there's an M adapter, L adapter, and it tells the camera you have an M lens, and it gives you some of the functionality that the native L lenses operate with, which is kind of nice. If you have the actual Leica M adapter L like this one, it'll do all that magic stuff. But yeah, that's why I like that 35. It's small and compact. The whole point of this camera was to have a little bitty package, was to keep it small for just walking around, some tourist photos or street photography kind of stuff, I like this setup. You know, it's just, that's typically when I travel, what goes with me is that camera and lens and its batteries. The only thing I don't like about it is I can't charge the batteries in camera. I have to use the charger, and I've got a Panasonic charger, I think, that stays in my travel bag, so that the Leica one stays plugged into my charging deck here. But that's the only way to charge the batteries. So I have a whole bunch of batteries, and that'll fit in the camera bag with my wildlife rig with the Z50, and then I'll throw the kit lens with the Z50 in there, so if I break that one, I can continue to do the same photography, but with the Z50, I just stick that kit lens on it, and I'm kind of back in the game, you might say. And that's my travel rig. It's very compact and simple. I don't carry a lot of stuff anymore. I used to carry the kitchen to sink and literally everything, but now I just don't. Surprising private photographic websites are popping up everywhere. I suppose people are tired of trolls and propaganda. Yes, they are. Yeah. If you're looking for like a gear though, seriously, search this out and join this group and buy from these guys. Just like I said, if you see somebody who's got something for sale, you can literally make a post that says, "Hey, I want to know who has dealt with Matthew Silva. Does he, what is his reputation?" And they'll tell you. Maybe there's one of these sections in here. I don't know. I've never looked in these other sections. I just went to the buy and sell portion of it. But yeah, you'll see posts occasionally where people will say, "Hey, Jim is good to go. I've dealt with him in the past, and it was a smooth transaction or whatever." You see that too. He's correcting them because they ain't putting the verification photo is the one with the date in this card. You have to put that in there for some reason. I guess scammers will just steal the photos and repost them. A lot of people ain't been adding their photos. I figured I'd see one of them posts. There it is. I can vouch for Drew, buy with confidence. You'll see that a lot. Like people that have dealt with him. Like I said, I've dealt with David Hugh enough. I recognize his name. He's in here pretty regular. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see one of his posts already. But I got some photos. I don't know. Let me see if I still have my... Oh, let me just share something with you. Guess what Phil did the other day? Yes, sir. You're looking at him proposing. He got me and Ray to photograph it. And they have done shared these images wide and far. But yes, he made it official. He's making her an honest woman. And you should see that rock. He did right. It's an incredible diamond. But yeah, I didn't get a good photo of it. Ray did. Ray got a beautiful photo of it. But I was kind of honored to have been asked to come and be a part of that. It was kind of a special thing for me to be allowed to be there to see it. I don't think I've ever seen someone propose before. I think that's the first time I'd ever been able to witness it in person. But it was incredible. But yeah. I got a bunch of images in this camera roll. If I bail out, you can see I got a little trigger happy. And then, yeah, look here. This is, she's taking pictures of it to share. I didn't get photos. I got it wrong. But we went out and did kind of street photography / Yeah, I was messing with Phil. I did my Dutch tilt. But he likes his horizon lines to be nice and level. And I was like, what, like this? Oh, you're killing me. I don't think I'm in the right folder. This goes all the way back to the festival in downtown when we went and had lunch. There's a bunch of interesting stuff. I just take pictures of stuff, you know. Do y'all just photograph stuff? And like, if you want to make this look a little better, you drag this slider up, drag this slider down, add some of this, maybe some black. And look at there. I really like this program. It's called Exposure. I've done wander down a rabbit hole, but maybe it's a little much clarity. We'll pull some of that back out, make it a little cleaner. But yeah, this is a folder where I've been. I don't know if y'all have this problem like me. Of course, this one's out of level. We can go here and fix this. Let's level it. There. But it may still be out of level. I don't know. You need to walk the walking bridge downtown more. It happens there a lot. You know, if you'll ever figure out what was on that camera. The Z9 got a good photo. The Z9 got a bunch of good photos that day. My upholstery work's giving up. I gotta fix it. Hold on. I bought this chair and I refused to throw it away because I spent a significant amount of money on it, and then it immediately started shedding the fake leather, and the surface has started to come apart on it. So I've got a towel thrown over the back so it doesn't come apart on my clothes. The last roll I ever shot, my sister-in-law's wedding. You shot film at a wedding?